Oh, my beautiful butterfly.
All right.
All right. Before we get started, though, I know we got some butterflies in here. I want to first thank Sister Anna here for just inviting me to be able to come before you. I don't take it lightly. Honored just to be able to share with you just a little bit about my story. She said the theme naturally was a caterpillar to a butterfly. So when we think of a caterpillar to a butterfly, first when we think of a caterpillar, we think of something that maybe is not so attractive, and then when it evolves into a butterfly, that is beautiful. But as I was sitting and I was just meditating on the theme for today, I thought about all the changes that the caterpillar goes through in order to even become a butterfly. And how many of us in here, and I know it's pretty much going to be all of us, we're going through some changes, or we've been through some changes, or we're going through some things. And a lot of times, as we go through life, when you think about when you're little, you're thinking about, what do I want to be when I grow up? I want to be a lawyer, I want to be a doctor, I want to be this, I want to be that. And then also, as you get older, you start to think, what is my purpose? Why am I here? What am I called to do on this earth? Everybody says we're all created with a purpose, and I believe that God has placed something divine in each and every one of us that we are supposed to leave an imprint in this universe. So what is it that we're supposed to do? So here it is, we're going through life. We go through change after change. We go through trial after trial. For some of us, we go heartbreak after heartbreak. And we ask ourselves why. And then for a lot of us, we go through so much. Some of us even get to that point where we begin to contemplate, is it even worth being here? Now that's real right there. I've had that moment. I keep going through so much. Why am I here to keep going through so much and have all this pain? Is it even worth being here? But I want to share with you today that we have a creator that doesn't make mistakes. That if he's created you to be here, if he's created you to make it, then he's created you to take it. Best believe that whatever you're going through, it's not just for you, but it's what you're supposed to go through. It has you on a journey where you're going to meet people along the way. And it's something that you've been through or that you're going through that you're going to help bless somebody else with and show them that, you know what, you can make it. You can get through this trial. You can get through this situation. When I think about that, I think about the scripture where it says in Psalms 118:7, I shall live and not die and declare the works of the Lord. Yes. Each of you has a mighty work that he's placed inside of you. And he needs you to hold on with whatever change that you're going through. If you think about the caterpillar as it's constantly evolving, it goes through those 4 stages where first, the egg is laid, and it hatches. Then it's a caterpillar. Then it has to constantly eat so that it can grow. And then it gets in that pupa stage where it's in the cocoon, where on the outside it looks like it's just resting, that nothing's going on, but inside that cocoon there's many changes going on. See, a lot of you on the outside, it may not look like anything's going on. People can't understand what's going on in your life or what you're going through. But on the inside, you got some turmoil. On the inside, you're going through some changes. But on the outside, people don't see it. And a lot of times, especially we as sisters, we walk past each other every day and don't have a clue what somebody else is going through. And that's why a lot of times, you have to reach out. Sometimes just telling somebody they're beautiful makes their day. Telling somebody, oh, those are some nice shoes you have on, makes their day. Telling somebody, oh, your hair looks nice, makes their day. Sometimes the simplest things are the most profound things that we lose sight of. So one thing that's kind of sidebar I want to leave with you, encourage your sister. Encourage her, because you don't know what changes that she's going through. When I think back about my own story, growing up, like I said, you think about what's your purpose, what do you want to be when you grow up? So, I get older, I get married, I have 2 kids, I go back to school, I get my degree, I work for my faculty as an accountant. I've always been passionate about fashion. You will always see me with a hot shoe on. That's my thing. I love shoes. That's my weakness. That's my weakness. So here it is. I have all of that, and it still feels like something's missing. I always loved fashion. I was a girl playing with Barbie dolls, changing her outfit, cutting her hair, doing all different kind of stuff. So I've always been passionate about fashion. 5 years old, flipping through Vogues and Cosmos and things like that. So here it is one day, I said, you know what? I want to start a fashion business. So I started doing that. Now the plan was for me to take over this accounting business, but that was not my heart's desire. I say accounting's something I'm good at, but fashion's something I'm passionate about. So here it is, I'm doing that, and kind of like fast forward, I told my father I don't really want to take the business over. He's heartbroken, because that's his plan, but it wasn't my plan. Fast forward to 2015, my life turns upside down. My father passes suddenly in October of 2015. He passed on a Friday morning. Monday morning was a due date for a lot of major forms. So I get a call, I get to the hospital, he's already passed on the way. When I tell you that Monday was the hardest day of my life that I could ever imagine, because the way my father was, it was always take care of somebody else first. So here it is, I could have closed the doors, not go back, not even worry about all that stuff that needed to be turned in. I went back in Monday morning. I'm sitting there crying, filling out forms, got everything turned in, because I knew that's what he would have wanted. So I don't even have time to grieve, I don't have time to mourn. Here it is, I got an office. One thing I do understand, and I know a lot of you do, that when you go through changes in life, life does not stop. Even if you stop, life doesn't stop. The phone keeps ringing, the calls keep coming, the door keeps getting knocked on, so I have no choice but to slow down. So here I am trying to handle this business. Clients are calling, they need their stuff done. I had to find out where he left off on stuff. Then at that point, I'm like, it's too much, I'm gonna sell the business. And I wanna do this before January 1st. I had a gentleman try to steal it from me. I had another guy, 2 other people tried to wait me out to the last minute thinking I would be desperate to sell it. A business that had been established, 2 locations over 30 years, somebody wants to offer me $1,000. I'm glad my brother got that call instead of me, because I probably wouldn't have been after sanctified and saved. So here it is, it's January. I have no alternative. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not about to let everything that this man built since I was a teenager get stolen or thrown away. So I decided to take it over. I don't know what I was thinking, but I did that. Now at that point I had over 20 years experience, so I take it over, and when I tell you all the changes and the trials that I went through, because even with over 20 years experience, I kept getting into situations where I didn't know everything. And one day I went to pick up the phone and call my dad and he wasn't there. And I'm like, what do I do? And then I heard the Holy Spirit say, I will be your father, in the natural and in the spirit. I will get you through this. There was things I didn't know how to do. I didn't know where to call. When I tell you the Holy Spirit would drop it in my mind like 5 in the morning. When you get up, go here. Go online. Google this. It's that simple. He would give me instructions. And I made it through. So here it is. It's March. I notice I'm starting to lose weight, and I just think I'm stressed out from all the ripping and running and all the stress and everything. Then I notice I'm having trouble trying to swallow. I can't get food down. So at this point, fast forward, first week of June, I'm going to Christiana Hospital. At this point, hadn't been able to hold anything down for 2 days. I lost probably about 15 pounds. On average, I usually about 140, 145. So I'm down to about 125 at this point. The day I'm going to the hospital, and this is where I'm talking about how you still have to be strong even in the midst of what you're going through. You still have to maintain your character in the midst of what you're going through. Don't let your situation change you. Now, I'm the type of person, I will go above and beyond. The day I went to the hospital, I'm laying on the floor, packaging paperwork. I got one client meet me at the emergency room, and then I tell my husband, on the way to the hospital, I need to stop at the post office to mail some paperwork to a customer. He's looking at me like I'm nuts, but he's like, you know what, you're your father's child. Because he was like that. Get to the hospital, I'm in the hospital for a week. At that point, they diagnosed me with an autoimmune disease called achalasia, and it's where the lower fixed muscle in your esophagus that opens and closes when you swallow, it loses motility. So what happens, whatever you eat, whatever you drink, if it doesn't go down, it gets stuck right here, and then it's got to force its way back up. So imagine when you're thirsty, you go get a drink of water. It wasn't that simple for me. I didn't know what it was like to sit down and eat a plate of food anymore, like other people do. I didn't know what that was like. It got to the point where I was so lethargic that I was pretty much dozing off and on during the day. So they told me I need to see a specialist in Philadelphia. I go do that, they run all these tests. They said there's no cure. There's procedures that you can get done to help slow the process down, but it's progressive. You'll have to keep coming back. They said my surgery was scheduled for like in August. So at this point, it's July. I have went from 142 pounds to 112. I'm skeleton. So they were able to push my surgery up by 2 weeks. I go have the procedure. That was 2016. But one thing I learned out of that situation, see, a lot of times you have to look at that. Sometimes the situation that you think is your burden ends up becoming your blessing. See, a lot of times God has us go through these changes, and God has us evolve because he understands that your mindset won't change until you go through. See, when you go through and you get through, then the way you think begins to change. You start to think different. You start to act different. You start to talk different. You start to walk different. You even start to look different. See, those little things that I began to take for granted, or I didn't really think twice of, I started to look at differently. When you're stuck in the house and you're laid up for a week and then you come outside and you smell fresh air, when you hear birds chirping, those little things that when you grab your keys and you walk out your front door and you go get in your car that you don't think twice about, you begin to think twice about. You begin to understand just how fragile life really is. And then even in the midst of that, because in the beginning I was angry. I said, I don't understand how I never got a chance to grieve over my father. I lost him. Now I have to deal with this. How much more do I have to deal with? I don't understand. Why me? Why me? I had a husband that even prayed and asked God to take it from me and give it to him. And God said, I appreciate that, but I got this. That's what he told him. He said, what you don't understand is that this is something that she has to go through in order to get through. This has to do with where I'm taking her. So even when you don't understand, even when it doesn't make sense, even when you cry out and be like, think, why God, why do I have to go through this? See, he knows the calling on your life. He knows what you have been created for. He knows what you've been purposed for. So in order for that to happen, he knows what you have to go through. Everybody's journey isn't the same. And a lot of times we look at other people and we say, you know what? I wish I was in her shoes. No, you don't. There's a lot of people that have no idea what I went through. They have no idea. And when I tell you, after I had my surgery, when I sat down and had that first meal, I could eat a whole plate of food. Something as simple as that was taken from me. I understood just how fragile life really was. I understood at that point what was really important. A lot of the stuff that we get caught up in is not important. A lot of these distractions that come our way. We get caught in these conversations and gossip and nonsense. You have a purpose for your life. God is calling for you to evolve. He's calling for you to change. And the only way that you can do that is when you go through these changes and these trials in your life. Look at what it is that you're supposed to learn from it. What it is that you're supposed to get from it. See, when your mindset changes and you begin to look at things differently, you'll see it differently. It won't look like it's as bad as it really is. So I had to look at my situation, and like I said, I went from being angry, then I went to being sad, and then I had to look at it like this. Every day, I don't care if I got 15 minutes worth of energy, I'm still going to get up and do what I can do in that 15 minutes. If I have an hour's worth of energy, I'm going to get up and do what I can get done in that hour. And that's how you have to look at it. He's created you to evolve. He's created you to change. There's something within you that this universe needs. There's something that's in you that needs to come out and shine bright to be able to touch other people's lives. Everything that we go through is never just for us. It's never just for us. So I implore you today, embrace the change. Whatever it is that you're going through, or you're gonna go through, or what you went through. Embrace the change. Know that it's for your good. Even when you don't understand it and you don't get it and you wonder why. Know that he's a creator that doesn't make mistakes. And he's got this. So evolve like that caterpillar. And the amazing thing about a caterpillar is that when it gets in the adult stage, it has its wings. And when you get your wings, you know you can soar. And that's the point where God's trying to get you to. He wants you to soar. He wants to get you to that point where you can fly. Fly and touch others with the giftings and the talents that reside in you. And we all have multiple gifts and talents. You know, when Anna was reading my bio, sometimes I hear people read my bio, I'm like, is that really me? Do I do all of that? And sometimes you say, like it's not enough hours in the day. But you know, they say that when you leave this earth, you should leave empty. There's multiple things in you. Other things in you that you need to teach to others, impart to others. It's not just for you. So embrace the change. Evolve. Embrace your journey. Your journey is your journey. And shine bright, shine bright, shine bright. And see, I got my Wonder Woman dress on deck. Well, I know I got some butterflies in here, but see, I got some Wonder Woman in here. See, sometimes you just gotta be in the natural and throw a fierce shoe on and a hot outfit and look in the mirror. Look, just like Wendy said back there, I look beautiful today. Ain't nothing wrong. You got the love on yourself. And there's nothing wrong with that. Now, I want to do a giveaway for a book. I do have my books here. I have a book called The Undiscovered Jewel, Realizing the Brilliance That Lies Within, and it gives spiritual and natural parallels between women and diamonds, and talks about how we have our own unique cut, color, clarity, and carat weight in this life. I also have a book as an entrepreneur called Moles in the Making, and I share my part in my entrepreneurial journey in that book. And then I also have another book here called Decisive Woman, Women Designing Your Destiny in 5 Minutes. So anybody in here has gifts and talents and they're looking to turn it into a business and take it to another level, Moguls in the Making and Decisive Women is definitely for you. And just for women who you want to learn how to embrace yourself and understand how unique and special you are, we have the Undiscovered Jewel, or even if you know someone that something like that nature could definitely bless them. I have those books here for purchase as well, but I want to do one as a giveaway, Undiscovered Jewel. So do I have any Wonder Woman whose birthday is within? Let's say. Somebody's birthday is today? Okay, so I was going to say within the next 5 days. Your birthday is today. I'm going to hand that to you, and I'll come over to you and sign it for you as well. You're welcome. Enjoy that. Understand that you are unique, you are special, you are one of a kind. You know anything about a diamond has natural flaws, but it doesn't take away from the brilliance. So that's right. It's still priceless. It's still valuable, and so are you. That's right.
I'm going to give the mic to Sharon.
Hi, everybody. How you guys doing? How is Dell Scott? Amazing, right? Dell's mom is here. Could you raise your hand? Hello, Miss Scott?
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry.
Mother Scott.
She focused.
Could you raise your hand?
She focused on her baby.